Hard to believe we are nearing the midway mark of the season in the Pro Volleyball Federation. It is the final match before All-Star Weekend as Atlanta, fourth place in the league, comes to town here in Indianapolis to take on the Indy Ignite, who sit in fifth place, just a half game back of the Vibe. Hello, everyone. We welcome you inside the Fishers Event Center. Emily Eman, Noah Reed with you. This is the second time in 4 days that Indy and Atlanta meet. The first time round was in Atlanta on Sunday. What did we learn from round one?
We learned that both Indy and Atlanta are insanely gritty teams. That was one of the most fun PVF matches to watch this season because it was an all-out battle for every single point. The defense was insane. It was so tough to put a ball down because the backcourt was awesome. The stars also really showed up. Outside Leah Edmond for Atlanta, the reigning MVP of the PVF went off for 25 kills. Indy needs to do a better job tonight containing her by getting some touches up front.
Also had 14 digs in that match for a double-double. She is the current player of the week in the PVF right now. As a two-match week last week, averaged 21 kills, 12 digs, and 3 aces. Did Leah Edmond, but there's also a star outside hitter on the other side too, and Nina Chaich, who's been fantastic the last few weeks.
With Lecator member Mena out for Indy, they needed someone to step up, and that's been Nina Chaich, who's been massive for this team. Offensively, she's undersized as an attacker, but is incredibly crafty. She's great at knowing when to take a swing and when to throw in an off speed. She also has really good range on her attack. She's got a great feel for the game to know where the block is and what shot is open to take a big rip. And she's not just been putting up better numbers offensively, she's become a really steady presence in serve receive that the Ignite needed. She's also one of Indy's best servers with a really tough topspin that can do damage on the back line.
Also had 2 aces in that loss against Atlanta on Sunday, as this is a look at the starting lineup for the Atlanta Vibe. They've got arguably the best libero in the entire league, Emily, and Morgan Hintz.
I think Morgan Hintz is not just one of the best liberos, but one of the best players in the entire PVF. What she does defensively and on serve receive is unmatched.
Almost 5 digs per set for Morgan Hintz this season, who was the libero of the year last year. Story tonight is going to be liberos because Elena Scott, the former Louisville Cardinal, getting her first career start at the professional level.
A lot of people were asking, well, where's Elena Scott been? But Kylie Murrah has been so good. But head coach George Pageant said he wanted to give Scott a chance because of the numbers she's putting up in practice and what we know that she can do out on the court.
A 3-time All-American, was twice named the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. She is in the libero jersey for the first time this season. Set 1 from the Fishers Event Center in Indianapolis. We are off and running, and it's an ace to start the day for Atlanta.
Serving was one of the biggest things that Atlanta did incredibly well on Sunday to get that 5-set win over Indy. That's a massive focus for the Vibe tonight, again, hitting those seams with some pace.
It's Pia Timmer, her 5th ace of the season. As a team, the Vibe had 6 of them on Sunday in the win against Indy. First swing for Leah Edmond. It's dug up by the new libero, Elena Scott. Taylor on the far side pin as Indy's first point of the night.
Elena Scott right away making a massive impact on this game. Leah Edmond went off for 25 kills in the first meeting on Sunday. That's something they have to do better, is digging that cross-court shot, because that's where she was scoring a lot of her points.
Nina Chaich to serve for the first time tonight for the Ignite. Go up tempo in the middle, and Atlanta regains an early 2-1 lead.
Really well taken care of on Atlanta's side, nailing that pass right away, and that gets Corey Lewis going, and that is a player that if you're facing them, you have to neutralize because of how effective she is in the middle.
She rotates back to serve after her first kill tonight. Hilly with a back set. This is Taylor, who goes right into the block. Both the offense and the defense getting it after it early for Atlanta.
We often talk about how good Leah Edmond is offensively up at the net, but defensively, she is such a good blocker and a big presence up there.
Hilly goes right back to Taylor. She splits the back row.
Really smart decision from Sydney Hilly, getting Ajani Taylor going early on in this match and getting her one-on-one situations, meaning she only has one blocker in front of her. She does a really good job with those matchups, putting it away.
And Sydney Hilly's so good at that, too. If somebody gets blocked or they have an attack error, she goes right back to them immediately.
Yeah, we call that a repeat setter. You want to give your hitters just a little more confidence to get that rhythm down, especially early on in a set or early on in a match.
Merritt Beeson, the rookie from Nebraska, goes wide right on the line, so Indy has tied it up at 3. Turned back up front by the Indy block, and it's the first lead of set one for the Ignite.
Good read up front right away from Cece Crawford up front. She's earned that starting spot in the middle because she's been so good defensively on those reads.
It's what she's been known for her entire career. Had 659 career blocks in college. Get way more defense than offense out of her. Serve goes long, tied at 4.
It's been really impressive for Crawford as well because sometimes you don't know how the speed of the game is going to translate to the professional game, but she has translated it beautifully and caught up really early on.
And if you ask her, she can be a setter too.
She's out there getting setting reps during serve and pass every day. It's crazy. She's good at it.
Hilly goes down to her knees to set up Martin in the front row. It's turned back by the Atlanta block.
Atlanta does a really nice job blocking their opponent's left side. So on the right side of the court for Atlanta, they set it up really well, and the middles do a really nice job getting all the way out to them.
Scott sets, Martin near pin, dug up in the back. Manzure sets, back row. Point Atlanta.
Bit of a chaotic play on both sides of the net. You can see the defense working pretty hard to keep that ball up. Both sides just is setting a little bit off.
So the Ignite use an early challenge 10 points into the match to see if that was touched by the block or not. Early 6-4 lead for the Vibe here on the road, trying to sweep the last 5 days against Indy. Back-to-back matches between these two as we take a look.
Tough to tell from that angle whether it hits a finger of Monserrat or not, but based on that angle, it didn't look like there was a touch.
Well, either way, it's reversed.
Yeah.
And here we go. Yeah, I think that does hit the pinky, does it not?
This is why we love Bolt 6 technology, because you get to see these angles that you just don't see anywhere else in the world. It is so great to have these amount of cameras.
Incredible work to get that view. It was touched by the pinky of the block, so instead of a 2-point Atlanta lead, we're tied at 5. Teeler serving. Edmond on the far pin with a dart down the line for the kill.
When you serve Leah Edmond, you can expect her to get the ball. She brings that momentum from the pass into her attack, and it's almost like she has an extra little punch up there.
Season high 25 kills Sunday in that 5-set win over Indy. Overpass drilled home. That's Pia Timmer, and it's a 2-point lead for Atlanta.
Indy is really struggling right now in serve receive. Atlanta is serving bullets right in the seam. This is something that's been a major focus for Indy with Lecator member Mena out, having that switch, and now with Elena Scott having that switch, they have to shore up those seams earlier on.
Martin scooped up. Back row swing, Merritt Beeson. After a free ball, it's Atlanta with a chance in system. Back row, Edmond cross court. There was no touch, point Indy.
Atlanta getting some really good looks on a lot of these really tough swings, just barely missing that one out to the side.
There's a look at Lecator member Mena leading the league in kills per set at almost 5. Went down a week ago tonight in Indy's last home match. George Pageant, head coach, said he thinks it'd be another couple weeks for her, hoping that it'll be sooner rather than later they get her back. But pretty obvious to say, without her on the floor, it's a huge loss every facet of the game for the Indy Ignite.
In every facet of the game. You see those numbers she puts up offensively, nearly 5 kills a set. But in serve receive, she's their best passer. She's one of the best passers in the league, so they're really missing that stability in the backcourt as well.
Cross court, buried in the corner by Timmer. Point Atlanta.
Right now, Indy's block just looks one step behind, especially on that outside. They're not closing very well, and the outsides are able to go right through it.
Coach Pageant told us this morning that was one thing he thought they struggled with Sunday, too, against Atlanta.
Yeah, especially that cross-court shot. He really wants that block moved in that middle to be able to close.
Off the slide, that's Crawford, scooped up in the back row. Timmer pushes it down into the center of Indy's defense.
Atlanta's outsides right now are doing a nice job of seeing what shot is available and going for it, whether that's a really hard shot or just an easy off speed. They're placing their shots really well.
Back-to-back points coming from Timmer. 2-point lead for Atlanta. Hilly goes with the dump. It's played by Atlanta. Overpass is rejected. That's Corey Lewis up front for the Vibe.
Really smart decision from Lewis to go up. This ball's an overpass. Sometimes you'll see players go up and try to attack this ball, but she was smarter and turned around, lined up her shoulders with the opposing shoulders and shut it down.
Chaic picked up by Edmond in the back. Timmer off the hands. Hilly back set. It's Crawford again off one foot, played by Beller. Back row, Teeler pops it off the tape. Monzere sets outside. Timmer with adjustment midair. Chaic sprints it down in front of the first row. Martin's free ball just clears the net. And Scott can't get to it from Beeson. Point, Atlanta.
The defense has been absolutely insane. This is what we saw on Sunday as well between Indy and Atlanta. It is a defensive all-out effort on both sides.
Two of the better defenses in the league. A lot of long rallies between these two. Teeler, far side in the back row, zips it wide of the line. Point, Atlanta, and the Vibe have opened up their biggest lead of the set. George Padgett, the head coach of the Indy Ignite, takes his first time out with his team down 5 and in the middle of a 5-0 run for Atlanta.
Atlanta right now doing a really nice job from the service line. They're putting in a lot of pressure on Indy's serve receive, hitting the seams really well, hitting it with pace really well. It's making it really difficult for Indy to run their offense. And even though we've gotten some really long rallies, Atlanta's done a better job of finding ways out of them in transition.
Just one ace for Atlanta that came on the very first point of the set, but as you know, Emily, it's not always about the ace, but it's can you get the defense out of system, and that's what Atlanta's been doing really well.
Yeah, they've been able to get Indy out of system at a really high clip, and conversely, on Atlanta's side, they're passing 100% right now, positive percentage, so they're getting really good looks anytime they're in serve receive, so it's been really easy for them to side out, and on the flip side, Indy's really struggled in serve receive, so they haven't gotten very good looks. That makes the defense just a little bit easier on Atlanta's side.
This was an Atlanta team that was picked to finish first in the league. They went 19-5 last year in the inaugural season of the PVF. Lost in the semifinals, come back this year with high expectations. Struggled a bit for their standards coming out of the gate, but they've won a couple in a row now and find themselves in the top half of the league. .5-0 run out of the timeout for Atlanta with a 5-point lead. Chaic has turned back. Scott sets, Teeler back row, and Edmond ducks out of the way. Atlanta continues the run, 6 consecutive.
Just a little bit off on that swing from Teeler. Atlanta Scott's putting her in a good position to take it, but Teeler's getting it too behind her head, forcing that out of bounds.
A couple errors in the early going for Teeler. Chaic near pin, dug up by Edmond. Monzere sprints it down. Timmer into the corner.
Taya Beller's just having a field day on the back line. If you watch it, it doesn't look like a particularly difficult serve to pass because it's just a standing float serve. We call this a bomb serve because she's so far back. There's so much time from the time it hits her hand to the time you pass it.
Well, they finally get her off the service line. It's Crawford from the middle, and that ends a 7-0 run for the Vibe.
Good decision for Sydney Hilly to get the middle involved just a little bit more. Even off of a medium pass, she's forcing that middle set and gets it done.
Crawford, after the kill, rotates back to serve with Indy down 6 in the opening set. Monzere goes up-tempo with Lewis in the middle. Hilly, back set, slide for Martin. Lewis again, great play by Taylor, still up, and Hilly pushes over. Back row, Beeson. Net violation called on Atlanta, so the Ignite win the point.
After some incredible defense, Ajani Taylor just throwing an arm out for it. And she has been so good in her all-around game. It's not just that offense. She's really come a long way defensively, too.
Has a lot more of the workload without Lecator member Mena in the lineup for the Ignite. This is really tight to the net. The overpass, it's kicked up in the air by Hilly, but Crawford cannot sprint it down. Point Vibe.
And Indy's having a difficult time getting out of some of those chaotic situations. They're not just getting that ball high and sending it over. It's getting more chaotic as the rally's gone on.
Taylor into the block of Atlanta, just poked over by Chaich. Lewis from the middle buries it.
Everything's going right for Atlanta right now in every facet of the game. They're serving really tough. Offensively, they look unstoppable because they're in system at a high clip, and nothing's falling defensively. They're picking everything up.
Well, it's allowed them to jump out to a 7-point lead now over the Indy Ignite with a score of 16-9. Always a great crowd here at the Fishers Event Center in Indianapolis for an Indy Ignite match night. They're down 7 though here in the opening set to Atlanta, 16-9. A few days after these two met on Sunday in Atlanta, it was a 5-set thriller that went the way of the Vibe. Now the timeout, Indy needs a point badly. It has been all Atlanta over the last few points. They won't get the point here. That's Edmond from the back row. She tools the block.
That was a beautiful adjustment from Leah Edmond on that swing. The set looked a little bit lower than what she was ready for on the jump, but she sped up that arm swing to get the kill.
This was 7-7 not too long ago. It's a 10-2 run for the Vibe. Chaich goes roll shot, played by the setter in Montserrat. Timmer cross court, scooped up. This is Beeson, sails it long, but it was touched by the block up front, point Atlanta.
Mara Beeson does a really nice job, even when she has 2 big blockers in front of her. She sees the hand so well, can just swipe it right off.
Number 1 overall pick this past December to the Atlanta Vibe after a trade with Indy, by the way. A little bit long on the slide attempt here from Lydia Martin.
At this point in the set, Indy just has to find a way to gain some momentum. They're probably not going to come back from a 9-point deficit, although it is possible, but they need to find a way to get something clicking in the last half of this set.
Edmond with another dig. She's been fantastic in the back row. Hilly sprints it down, back set, Teeler rolls it off the block, point Indy.
There's a Johnny Teeler. Right when Indy needs a point, they oftentimes go to Teeler. Whether she's in the front or the back court, Hilly likes to find her there.
Now Sydney Hilly serving, Indy down 9. From the middle, that's dug up, and it's blocked back by Teeler, point Indy.
Great dig from Elena Scott in the backcourt. This is such a hard ball to defend because it's coming at you so fast. You don't have a lot of time to react, so you have to be in the right spot. That's exactly what Scott did.
First match as a starting libero, 2nd round pick, 9th overall for Indy this past draft. She has the bump set to Teeler on the far pin, who spins it off the block.
One of the reasons that Scott earned the starting spot is because her out-of-system balls are incredible. Whether she's using her hands or platform, she gets the ball there all the time.
A week ago, George Pageant told us it's just a matter of time before we give her the libero jersey. It only took a week after he said that before she got her first start. Chaich got a hand on it, that's it, point Atlanta. Pia Timmer, who's been really effective on the outside, is back to serve. Goes long, service error, gives the point back to Indy.
One focus that Coach Caleb Banworth told us that Atlanta was trying to do was when they get a lead in sets, they have to be able to completely close the door and don't let the opponent back in.
She said in 2 of those 3 set wins against Indy on Sunday, they got out to a big lead, and that lead went away quickly, made it a lot closer than it had to be.
The key there is just not getting comfortable when you're up, making sure to keep the foot on the gas.
Martin blocked away. Beeson combines up front with Beller for the block.
Atlanta's block has been fantastic to start this match. They have 5 already just through not even the first set.
Average about 2 per set, so way over that average already in set 1. Taylor picked up by Lewis, but then it falls down quickly. Taylor the kill, Indy back within 8. Johnny Taylor, one of the 4 All-Stars for the Ignite, who will play in this building on Saturday, 2 days from now. The first ever All-Star game in PVF history can be seen on CBS with Emily Eamon on the sideline.
Could not be more excited. I mean, this place is going to be insane here. When it gets loud, I mean, it is going to be so much fun, and people are just so excited to watch these stars that have come from all over the country, and it's going to be awesome.
Edmond buries it on that far side. Murr couldn't quite get their point, Atlanta. And we found out a little bit ago, maybe a half hour ago before this match started, that it's a sellout too.
Which is absolutely incredible. I mean, the first ever All-Star match for Professional Volleyball League in the U.S. and the fact that it's here in Indy is so, so cool.
Seats 7,500. It is expected to be full on Saturday afternoon. Crawford out of the middle.
It's really difficult to get a ball down against Morgan Hens, but that tells you how good that swing was for CeCe Crawford, really using that slice shot, turning her thumb down to hit that zone 5.
Nearly 5 digs per set for Morgan Hens this season, the Vibes libero. Edmond, did it find the line? It sure did.
The bread and butter shot for Leah Edmond. She's so good at hitting that back corner, which is difficult to defend because you're splitting the left back and middle back defenders.
She's been fantastic, has set point for Atlanta. Martin near pin off the deflection of the hands. Monserrat back set off the slide. That's picked up by Scott. Martin, point Indy.
Really good job defensively on the Ignite side. Elena Scott putting up a ball that looks like Sydney Hilly could go up and take a swing at, but she sets it, giving her outside the one-on-one.
After her second kill of this first set, Isabel Martin back to serve. Coming off a double-double, 15 kills, 12 digs. Still an 8-point deficit. Atlanta has a lot of set points to work with. Back row, Beeson, roll shot, drops down in front of a diving Taylor, and that's how Atlanta takes set 1.
And Atlanta was incredible in every facet of the game. They were serving the Ignite off the court during the first half of that set. Their block really came alive in the second half of the set, and their offense looked incredible. I thought Marley Monserrat distributed the ball very well, and they put the hammer down.
They went on a 7-0 run about halfway through set 1, and that was the difference. Atlanta takes set 1 on the road against.
Lights, it's up. The Indy Ignite are taking over with nonstop action, athleticism, and an experience you will never forget. Indiana's first ever professional women's volleyball team is lighting up the Fishers Event Center this season. Tickets are on sale now and going fast. Join the fan firestorm in supporting these unbelievable female athletes and creating memories you won't forget. Get your tickets at indyignitevb.com today.
Why should you get tickets to see the Atlanta Vibe?
There's no whining to the refs like a little crybaby.
There's no falling down and acting like you have a life-threatening injury. Everyone knows you're faking, dude.
They're super nice, unless you're on the other team. Then they're gonna kick your.
There's no boring 0-0 ties. They score like constantly. Yeah, we're really tight.
Get your tickets today at atlantavibe.com.
Fisher's Event Center in Indiana will play host to the inaugural PVF All-Star Match, February 22nd. Tickets are on sale now at provolleyball.com or scan the QR code for instant access.
When I hear it coming up like that, I just know that thing.
A dominant set one on the road for the Atlanta Vibe as they take it 25-16 over Indy, and a lot of that thanks to the defense of the Vibe in the first set.
Atlanta's defense was incredible. In the front court, they had 5 stuffs. And it wasn't even just that. They're getting really good touches on the block that's led to a lot of good digs in the backcourt. They put up 17 digs during just that set alone, and they held Indy to an 0.28 hit percentage. That needs to be a lot higher for Indy. They need to do a better job avoiding the hands on the block, either going off of them or around them, because Atlanta's defense in the backcourt's picking up everything if they're getting touches on it.
6 of those digs coming from Leah Edmond, who also had 4 kills in that opening set. Did a bit of everything for the Vibe to be able to take that first set. And to kind of come back to the point that Caleb Anworth talked with you and I about yesterday is when they get up, they've got to be able to finish and not let teams back into sets. They did exactly that in set 1.
They were absolutely fantastic at that. They had that long 7-0 run in the middle of the set, and when they got that lead, they never let up off the gas. They did a really good job closing when it mattered and not letting Indy come back.
We've won back-to-back matches, including just a few days ago on Sunday when these two teams met in Atlanta, trying to make it 3 straight wins heading into the All-Star break. 2 former teammates chatting there, Leah Edmond and Ajani Teeler. Well, no, not teammates, but went to Kentucky together, right?
Yeah.
Yes, there we go. Sydney Hilly set to get us going here in set 2. The setter for Indy. Middle is Lewis. Opening point of set 2 goes the way of Atlanta.
One thing Indy needs to do a lot better job of here in set 2 is serving tougher. Atlanta's been in system at such a high clip, and that's because the passing has been so good. Indy needs to drive it back just a little bit better with pace.
Hilly goes to Martin out of the middle. It's blocked back. Now Chaich on the pin. Monserrat goes near side. That's Edmond who squeezes it between the back row.
Leah Edmond is so tough to stop because even when that set isn't perfect out to her, she knows exactly what to do with it. Her volleyball IQ is so high that even if it's not good, she knows when to throw in a tip, a roll, or maybe take a hard swing.
The current player of the week in the PVF. Second time she's had that award this season. Couldn't quite get back to that one on a ball that had Atlanta's defense scrambling. Point Indy.
And Indy needs to be able to stay aggressive on some of these plays. They're doing a good job keeping the ball on Atlanta's side, but they're not hitting those seams well enough. So they have to do a better job of that up front as well.
Chaich nearly had an ace. But Indy gets the block either way. Martin up front for the Ignite.
That's the serve working really well with the block up front. When you serve the other team out of system, you pretty much know exactly where that ball is going, so the block can just eat it up.
Nina Chaich goes into the net on the next serve. Atlanta's got a 3-2 lead. Comes Merritt Beeson. Point Atlanta, rotation error on the Ignite.
Players just moving a little bit too early in serve receive. You have to stay in your area until that contact is made on the other side.
Martin from the middle zips it into the back.
Beautiful set from Sydney Hilly. Off of a medium pass about 7 feet off the net, she still has the ability to get her middle attack going.
Martin coming off a season high 7 kills. did not start against Atlanta, did not play in either of the first 2 matches, but George Padgett went with a substitution going into set 3 where he replaced Blake Moeller with Lydia Martin and felt he got a little bit more offense with that move.
And he was looking for offense, and that's exactly what he got out of Martin. She put up 7 kills, hit nearly 500 at the end of that.
Hilly looks to Crawford, picked up by Edmond. Back set, here's Teeler, roll shot, great play from Hintz. Edmond from the back row. Defense was spectacular, and it turns into offense for the Vibe.
Morgan Hintz is just a walking highlight reel. You think the ball is down, and all of a sudden she comes out of nowhere to pick this up. Look how difficult that ball is. But it's not hard for Morgan Hintz because she is one of the best, not just in the country, but in the world.
Led the league last year in digs per set at 4.2. She has bumped that number up this year to 4.7 digs per set after being the libero of the year last year.
If you're going to try to tip against Morgan Hintz, it has to go a little bit more away from her because you might think a tip is good and would fall against most liberos, but not against Morgan Hintz.
Off the slide, that's Beller. She's so good off of 1 foot.
She's fantastic off of 1 foot, especially that slide attack pushed all the way out to the pin. She has a lot of space to hit, and she is so good with that fast arm swing.
Serve goes long this time. Indy pulls within 2. Timmer, roll shot, played by Teeler. Out of system, sent over on a free ball. Monserrat back row to Edmond, who goes off the deflection of the block.
When Atlanta's in system, Leah Edmond becomes nearly unstoppable because even if she has 1 or 2 blockers up in front of her, she knows exactly where to hit it. And if it's in system, it's a lot quicker, so it's harder to get those blocks set.
Teeler is rejected. Lewis and Timmer combine in that front row for the Atlanta block.
Great setup from Pia Timmer up front, taking away the cross court, feeding everything to Hintz in the back row, and she gets the stuff out of it.
Indy takes a timeout early in set 2, already down 1-0, now down 9-5 in the second. And that block that you talked about for Atlanta, they had 5 of them in the first set, Emily, and it's playing out again in set 2.
Well, Atlanta's just a really tall team, and they have really long arms, so they're able to get to a lot of balls. You might think their body's there. They can also shape their hands a little bit differently, so if their body's not in the perfect spot, they can move their arms around so you think you have a seam, and all of a sudden one of the Atlanta players takes it away.
And especially against Teeler, too, because Kayla Banworth told us that yesterday when we talked to her. She felt the block was not good against Teeler, that they had to slow her down, but they've defended her really well today.
One of the things that makes Teeler and really this entire Indy team difficult to defend is they're actually pretty undersized as attackers, so they're really crafty. That means they know how to use the block incredibly well. So if your hands aren't in the perfect spot to make the play, Indy's able to go right off of it, and Teeler is especially really good at that, just standing at 5'9".
All right, what's the answer here for Indy?
Indy needs to do a better job of going off of hands. Teeler's very good at that, but all of Indy needs to avoid hands on Atlanta's side, and if they're gonna hit hands, just go right off the fingertips. You can't go right down into it.
9-5 deficit for Indy. Out of the timeout, Atlanta continues to serve up 1-0. Chayich, oh, that's a great play from the Atlanta defense. Right back to Chayich, who goes roll shot, played by Monserrat. Hilly back to Chayich. Timmer through the seam, and it sails out of play, point Atlanta.
Well, Indy did a better job during that rally of swinging just a little bit higher. Atlanta just outlasted them with some really good defensive plays in the backcourt. Marley Monserrat was laying out for those.
Great defense by the setter, who now rotates back to serve for the Vibe. Monserrat again. Monserrat goes middle to Lewis. That's upped by Scott. Chayich can't terminate. Timmer off speed, pushed right back to her. Lunging effort for Martin to keep it up. Nice. Back set, tight to the net. Nice adjustment mid-air, and it is pushed out of play. Point Indy.
Indy just outlasted Atlanta during that rally. I mean, Atlanta's defense was phenomenal, not just getting the ball up, but putting in a perfect situation for Monterey to run their offense.
Loud ovation is for Anna DeBeer, who is making her debut after missing the first month and a half, almost 2 months of the season. And off the slide, that's Lewis, who drills it into the floor.
It's just so cool to see Anna DeBeer back out there. She went down with an ankle injury during the national semis last fall, and it was just heartbreaking for a player that was from Louisville, playing for Louisville, potentially for a national championship in her hometown. But to see her now back on the court is just so exciting after a really tough recovery.
The first draft pick in Indy Ignite history. They used the first round pick, number 2 overall, to get Anna DeBeer.
You don't see her smile that big that often either, so you know how happy she is if she's giving you one of those.
That had to feel good. Chaich cross court for the kill.
What a shot for Nina Chaich. Just slicing that one right inside. Really great hand movement on that ball.
To go back to Anna DeBeer, the Indy Ignite tweeted out today the injury report like they do every match. Anna DeBeer was not on it, and their Twitter mentions were filled with Anna DeBeer active, question mark.
It's been so fun to see her back on the court, even just playing sixes during practice. She seems like she's always had a great appreciation for the game, but you can just tell it means so much more to her now just to be out there on the court.
The Atlanta Vibe have pushed the lead back up to 5 about halfway through the second set. Lewis serving, she goes into the net. This is Nina Chaich, had a couple aces against Atlanta on Sunday, has the most on the team with 8. Overpass, Taylor winds up, buries it in the corner. That's one of those where it's not an ace, Emily, but because of a great serve where you apply pressure, it allows your team to score a point.
I kind of always feel like those should count as like an assist or something because you're really setting up for the front row to make that happen.
Monterey back set. That's Beeson who goes cross court, and it just misses the line. Point Indy.
Beeson hit that one out, but man, what a good take from Morgan Hentz, just nailing that pass right on the money.
A quick 3-0 spurt for the Ignite has allowed them to crawl back within 2 points, trying to even this at a set apiece. Edmond pushes, Chaich runs it down. Lydia Martin from the center drills it.
A huge focus for Indy was getting the middle going in transition. That was the perfect time to do it. Great pass in transition, and Martin working her butt off to get off the net so she could be up and available for Hilly to get her the ball.
George Pageant said the transition offense has been sloppy the last couple weeks. Nothing about that one was sloppy. Serve does go long for Chaich here, but she did get Indy Ignite back in it, down just 2.
There's a few things that go into that transition piece. One, your middles have to work really hard, just getting down off the block and getting off of the net. But also defensively, you have to get the ball high enough to allow them time to get back.
Serve into the net this time. Trade a couple service errors back and forth. Lydia Martin back to serve for the Ignite. Or maybe Martin won't serve. I think George Pageant might have a substitution coming as Carly Scott's set to check in to serve. Carmel, Indiana native, 2-time All-American at Michigan. Edmond near pin, missed the line, point Indy, tied at 13.
Atlanta not taking advantage of the lead they had earlier. They were up 12-7 at one point, 5 points, and now completely let Indy right back in this one.
A 6-1 run for the Ignite. They've gotten right back in, at a chance to take the lead. Upped by Kylie Murr. Martin into the block, keeps it up. This is Taylor at the 10-foot line. Edmond near pin, goes off speed, sliding play by Hilly. Taylor off the hands, and Indy takes the lead.
Indy's defense has done a much better job in set to getting positive touches on the ball so they can run offense in transition. On Atlanta's side, they're not getting very good looks offensively. They're good defensively. The ball's up at the net. Monterey's just mishandling a little bit.
She goes back set. Beller on the slide, sent back by the Indy block, and miscommunication. Nobody went after it.
That set just a little bit too low for Beller to do anything with. Monterey has to get that ball up a little higher.
Atlanta takes a timeout for the first time this match, as Indy is on an 8-1 run to take a 2-point lead. Just feels like a completely different Indy Ignite team in set 2.
It's completely different. It looks like they've woken up a little bit, just one step ahead of the play rather than falling one step behind, which is what we saw during set 1. Especially up at the net on a lot of these blocks. They're getting good positive touches that's allowing that defense to kind of slow down in the backcourt so the offense can run.
Indy took set 1 on Sunday. Atlanta came back, won 3 of the next 4 to take it in 5 sets. It was the Vibe who stormed out to a 1-0 lead after the first set, and Indy trying to answer back the same way that Atlanta did against them on Sunday. It's 12-7 Atlanta, just a handful of points ago. 8 of the last 9 points have been scored by the Indy Ignite, who have taken a 2-point lead, trying to even this at 1 set apiece. Monserrat to Edmond, look out.
You could really see that ball. It was coming so fast off of Leah Edmonds' hand. If you give her a seam to hit through, she's going to absolutely bury it right in the floor.
Match high 8 kills for Leah Edmond, who rotates back to serve. After the hardest hit ball of the night we've seen so far. Crawford goes middle. That might be the softest hit ball of the night, and they both work for a kill.
And that's the fun thing about volleyball is you could put a hole in the floor or you could have just a light feather touch. It doesn't matter. As long as you're scoring a point, that's all that matters.
Timeout on the floor. Indy Ignite up 2 against Atlanta, a little more than halfway through the set here in Fishers. Great response here in set 2 so far from the Indy Ignite, who lost set 1 25-16, fell behind 12-7 in the set, but gone on a big run to take a 2-point lead. And Johnny Taylor and company trying to tie this at a set apiece here at home, a place that they do not lose very often. 4-1 in this building this season. Monserrat sets, Beller off the slide, uses the hands off the block for the kill.
Much better connection between Monserrat and Beller. She got that ball just a little bit higher so Beller could hit that at full extension.
such a great job distributing, coming off a season-high 60 assists in that 5-set win over Indy on Sunday. Dumped over by Hilly, perfect placement.
What a sneaky play from Sydney Hilly up front. She's about 5 or 6 feet off the net, but still disguises this two-shoot really well.
George Pageant said, we want her to be more assertive offensively. She has to look for times to insert herself into the offense. Does so perfectly there. Timmer. Scott could not dig it up. Point Atlanta.
Good shot from Timmer, really working that sideline and cross-court shot, but not right to the libero, still getting it on her left side.
Pia Timmer, the rookie from Germany, went to Washington State. She's top 3 all-time in program history in kills. Serve off the tape, pops back on the Atlanta side. Service error, point Indy. Crawford has the ace for Indy.
Indy's serving has really turned it up a notch here in the second set. They're putting a lot more pressure on the end line, and they're hitting seams a lot better as well.
Rookie who finished her career at Wisconsin after a couple of years at Kansas, was drafted in the second round by Indy. Monserrat sets Lewis in the middle, upped with one hand of CeCe Crawford, and a free ball from Martin. Back to Lewis. Hilly's there to play it. Crawford sets, Teeler. Timmer pushes it into the hands of the block. Hintz makes a diving play. Nina Chaich buries it in front of Hintz for the kill.
That's a high momentum play that Indy needed late in this set. Now with a great lead against Atlanta. Earlier on in the set, they were down 5, now finding themselves up 4.
It was 12-7 at that point when they were down 5, and since then, all Indy. A 13-4 run for the Ignite. They've got a 20-16 lead, and Atlanta uses its final timeout of the set.
This is what makes Indy so fun to watch, is they are never counted out. They might be down 5, 6, 7 points, but they will continue to fight during every set.
Without Lekator, member Mena as well, the last 2.5 matches. She got injured in set 2 last Thursday night. It's allowed players like Nina Chaich to take even a bigger role. It's allowed a couple players that weren't playing a whole lot, like Isabel Martin, to come in and have a massive role, and it's all about making the most of your opportunity, and some of these outside hitters have.
During a really long professional season, you have to have depth. It's so important, especially for this Indy team, who is already out 1 outside with Anna DeBeer. They're still an incredibly deep team, and George Pageant knows that whoever he puts out on the court, he's not just putting him out there, he's confidently putting him out there.
Chance to even this at a set apiece going to the third. CeCe Crawford serving out of the timeout for the Ignite. Lewis from the middle, off the hands of the block. Great execution out of the timeout by Atlanta.
The substitution on Atlanta's side, we see Mia Tuaninga and just providing a little bit more of a spark and kind of a different look for Atlanta to try to get something going with the offense.
It's Pia Timmer back to serve. Vibe down 3. See if they got a late surge in them to take a 2-0 lead. Hilly dumps, Hintz dives after it and does not get there in time. Point Indy, and immediately Atlanta wants to use a challenge.
I'm just guessing here, but if Morgan Hintz got under it, I'm going to have to say she got it.
You give her the benefit of the
just
doubt.
because it's Morgan Hintz.
I think that's probably what Kayla Banworth is saying too. I'm just going to go and give the best libero in the league the benefit of the doubt that she got her hand there. All right, let's see what we can find out. I think that it's the floor.
That's sadly down. I was giving her the benefit of the doubt, you know. It's Morgan Henn.
It's a smart move, typically. It is confirmed that it hits the floor. Point Indy. Lead is 21-7. As Morgan Henn rarely does not get to a ball. To Aninga, sets. This is Edmond, scooped up by Elena Scott. Shaich, Hens is there for that one. Edmond goes roll shot. To Aninga, back set, Dixon off the slide. Martin rolls it off the block, point Indy.
Indy's defense is really turning alive when it matters. They made that switch about halfway through the second set, and they have not looked back since.
Chance to tie this up at 1 set apiece going to the third. Lewis from the middle drops it straight through.
Really good job on Atlanta's side getting that pass up at the net, and Corey Lewis becomes lethal when it's a one-on-one.
One of the 4 All-Stars for Atlanta. They are staying here in Indy for the All-Star game in a couple days. Martin out of the center again.
Good pass on Indy's side this time. That allows the middle to run, and Lydia Martin is so good right in front of the setter as well.
George Padgett's been saying all season how he needs more offense from the middles, and Lydia Martin has provided that today. Nina Chaich into the net on the serve. Atlanta pulls back within 4. Anna Dixon serve is wide right. Indy has set point. Indy Ignite fans to their feet here with set point, and they've got 5 of them to work with at a chance to tie it at 1 set apiece. To Aninga, sets, Edmond tools the block.
Good finish from Edmond, nearly on the floor from that pass, but gets up really quick to make the swing.
Her 9th kill keeps this set alive, and she's serving. Crawford from the middle, tools the block, and Indy takes set 2, 25-20.
Just such an impressive comeback for Indy. Down 5 points at one time during the set. Now a 10-point swing, up 5 to finish it. A really good turnaround. They put in a lot more service pressure, and the defense really picked up.
Dropped the first set 25-16. They answer back with a 25-20 win here in set 2 after falling behind at 12-7 about halfway through that set. And we are joined now by George Padgett, the head coach of the Indy Ignite. Coach, you guys dropped the first set. You're down 12-7 in the second. What changed from that moment?
We dug a couple balls, finally got some positive block touches at the net. We're a little slow getting over the net right now, and they're very fast offensively. So I think we're getting the timing down, getting a little better rhythm, dug a couple balls. That's our momentum, is defense, both net and back row.
Well, speaking of the defense, Elena Scott's her first start tonight. What have you seen from her that you like?
I mean, Elena's ridiculously talented. Very excited to have her out there right now. She's digging balls. She looks composed. She definitely doesn't look like a rookie out there, I'll say that.
Coach, thanks so much for the time. Best of luck the rest of the night.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
1 set apiece. George Padgett's Indy Ignite bounce back after a 25-16 loss in the first set. They take the second 25-20, and we're at a spot where it's a best of 3 from the Fishers Event Center in Indy.
Lights, it's up. The Indy Ignite are taking over with nonstop action, athleticism, and an experience you will never forget. Indiana's first ever professional women's volleyball team is lighting up the Fishers Event Center this season. Tickets are on sale now and going fast. Join the fan firestorm in supporting these unbelievable female athletes and creating memories you won't forget. Get your tickets at indyignitevb.com today.
Why should you get tickets to see the Atlanta Vibe?
There's no whining to the refs like a little crybaby.
There's no falling down and acting like you have a life-threatening injury. Everyone knows you're faking, dude.
They're super nice, unless you're on the other team. Then they're gonna kick your
There's no boring 0-0 ties. They score like constantly. Yeah, we're really tight.
Get your tickets today at atlantavibe.com.
Fisher's Event Center in Indiana will play host to the inaugural PVF All-Star Match, February 22nd. Tickets are on sale now at provolleyball.com or scan the QR code for instant access.
Lights, it's up! The Indy Ignite are taking over with nonstop action, athleticism, and an experience you will never forget. Indiana's first ever professional women's volleyball team is lighting up the Fishers Event Center this season. Tickets are on sale now and going fast. Join the fan firestorm in supporting these unbelievable female athletes and creating memories you won't forget. Get your tickets at indyignitevb.com today.
Why should
2 sets in from the Fishers Event Center in Indianapolis, and we are tied at a set apiece between the Indy Ignite and the Atlanta Vibe heading to the 3rd set. We welcome you back inside the Fishers Event Center. Emily Eamon, Noah Reed with you. That felt like 2 completely different teams really on both sides from set 1 to set 2.
Indy did a much better job during set 2 finding a way to get that offense going. During set 1, they hit 0-28. During set 2, over 350. So they did a really good job finding ways to distribute the offense a little bit better. But then they also found a way to shut down Atlanta's offense just a little bit more, especially toward the second half of that first set. Although Atlanta did hit better in set 2 than set 1, they found ways to score on their side for the Ignite. And you take a look at those stats just as a whole, Atlanta still having the advantage in efficiency, but those error numbers a lot higher during set 2.
Defense is what we talked about to start the day. Both teams over 30 digs through 2 sets. Set 1 was really tight, 7-7 at one point, but then Atlanta used a 7-0 run to run away.
And Atlanta found ways to just really put the pressure on from serve. Indy had a really difficult time in serve receive, getting the ball up to distribute that offense evenly, so they were very pin heavy. But then during set 2, they made a much better turnaround. The passing improved on Indy's side, and conversely, they did a much better job putting pressure on the serve to knock Atlanta out of system so they couldn't run the offense that they're known for.
Well, it was all Atlanta in that first set. Indy responds back with a set 2 win, and we are tied 1 set apiece.
Lights, it's up! The Indy Ignite are taking over with nonstop action, athleticism, and an experience you will never forget. Indiana's first ever professional women's volleyball team is lighting up the Fishers Event Center this season. Tickets are on sale now and going fast. Join the fan firestorm in supporting these unbelievable female athletes and creating memories you won't forget. Get your tickets at indyignitevb.com today.
Why should you get tickets to see the Atlanta Vibe?
There's no whining to the refs like a little crybaby.
There's no falling down and acting like you have a life-threatening injury. Everyone knows you're faking, dude.
They're super nice, unless you're on the other team. Then they're gonna kick your
There's no boring 0-0 ties. They score like constantly. Yeah, we're really tight.
Get your tickets today at atlantavibe.com.
Fisher's Event Center in Indiana will play host to the inaugural PVF All-Star Match, February 22nd. Tickets are on sale now at provolleyball.com or scan the QR code for instant access.
Lights, it's up! The Indy Ignite are taking over with nonstop action, athleticism, and an experience you will never forget. Indiana's first ever professional women's volleyball team is lighting up the Fishers Event Center this season. Tickets are on sale now and going fast. Join the fan firestorm in supporting these unbelievable female athletes and creating memories you won't forget. Get your tickets at IndyIgniteVB.com today.
Why should you get tickets to see the Atlanta Vibe?
There's no whining to the refs like a little crybaby.
There's no falling down and acting like you have a life-threatening injury. Everyone knows you're faking, dude.
They're super nice, unless you're on the other team. Then they're gonna kick your
There's no boring 0-0 ties. They score like constantly. Yeah, we're really tight.
Get your tickets today at atlantavibe.com.
When I hear it coming up like that, I just know that things are gonna end bad. La 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 la, I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it. La 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 la, I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it. La 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 la.
Pro Volleyball Federation Season 2. Tickets available now.
Lights, it's up! The Indy Ignite are taking over with nonstop action, athleticism, and an experience you will never forget. Indiana's first ever professional women's volleyball team is lighting up the Fishers Event Center this season. Tickets are on sale now and going fast. Join the fan firestorm in supporting these unbelievable female athletes and creating memories you won't forget. Get your tickets at IndyIgniteVB.com today.
Why should you get tickets to see the Atlanta Vibe?
There's no whining to the refs like a little crybaby.
There's no falling down and acting like you have a life-threatening injury. Everyone knows you're faking, dude.
They're super nice, unless you're on the other team. Then they're gonna kick your
There's no boring 0-0 ties. They score like constantly. Yeah, we're really tight.
Get your tickets today at atlantavibe.com.
Fishers Event Center in Indiana will play host to the inaugural PVF All-Star Match, February 22nd. Tickets are on sale now at provolleyball.com or scan the QR code for instant access.
On to set 3 we go in the Fishers Event Center here in Indianapolis with the Indy Ignite and the Atlanta Vibe tied at 1 set apiece, and it has turned into a best of 3 for these two who just went 5 sets about 4 days ago in Atlanta. Something about these two meeting, I guess. Good matches.
Well, both just match up really well. I mean, they're so good defensively on both sides. It's been so hard to put a ball down all night, and it was the same thing on Sunday as well. So we're seeing a lot of the same things play out now, split 1 set apiece.
Atlanta took the first 25-16. Indy answered back with a 25-20 win in the second, and here we go in set 3. Nina Chaic who gets the first swing of the day, and it is Indy's point off the deflection of the block.
Nina Chaic has had a pretty good night for herself. She's doing a good job going right off of the hands, knowing when to take a big swing and then when to kind of let up a little bit.
Second team All-American at Tennessee, her only year as a volunteer this past season. Tuaninga sets Dixon on the near pin, and she uses the hands of the block. Point Atlanta.
During the second set, Atlanta ended with Nia Tuaninga and Anna Dixon up front, and that'll be the way that they start here in the third, just trying to get some kind of different offensive rhythm going.
Tuaninga, the rookie setter who was drafted in the 4th round, 27th overall pick this past year. Lydia Martin squeezes it between the back row for Indy.
Another big thing that Indy did incredibly well during set 2 was get those middles going. They had a combined 6 kills between CeCe Crawford and Lydia Martin during that set, so Sydney Hilly has to continue to keep finding them.
Lydia Martin had her season-high 7 kills against this Atlanta Vibe team on Sunday. She's already up to 5. It's a back row swing for Timmer. This time it's Isabel Martin.
Great arm swing from Isabel Martin, knowing that out of system, she's going to have two big blockers in front of her, but she used the block incredibly well.
Coming off her first career double-double, 15 kills, 12 digs on Sunday. Early 3-1 lead here in the third set for Indy, and make it a 4-1 lead after the ace.
Indy continuing that service pressure that we saw during set 2, hitting the seams incredibly well and working the passer short and deep.
Lydia Martin's third ace of the season. Seen her have an impact in the front row and the back row now in the early going of the third. Now she's looking for an assist. Taylor will give it to her.
She's putting up every stat line during set 3. Beautiful set to Johnny Taylor. Really confident set as well with those hands.
8th kill of the night for Johnny Taylor. Great start in this set for the Indy Ignite, but Martin does go into the net on this serve. It's 5-2 Ignite.
With a shorter block up front with Mia Tuoninga, look for Indy to push that outside set just a little bit more.
They do go back to the outside with Martin. Dixon right down in front of Elena Scott for the Atlanta point.
Good handle on Atlanta's side, knowing that they do have a shorter blocker up front with Tuoninga, so that defense makes the adjustment to go right around her.
Anna Dixon, the rookie who played for 3 different schools, started her career at Kansas State, 3 years at Missouri, played her final year at Florida. CeCe Crawford drops it down in the back row.
Sydney Hilly continuing to force that middle set, even if it's not a perfect pass at the net. 5-6 feet off, she's continuing to get her middles going.
Is the one thing that Indy's offense has really not had a lot of this season is production from the middles, but they've gotten that tonight. Edmond is rejected. It's Hilly and Crawford up front for the block.
It's a beautiful job of the serve working well with the block. You normally wouldn't want to serve Morgan Hens, but because she's in zone 1, you're essentially taking away any right side attack that you would have funneling it outside, and the block goes up and gets it done.
Taylor serves in the net here. 7-4, Indy leads Atlanta in the third. Leah Edmonds' serve does not quite find the line. Point Indy. Didn't miss by much. And Isabel Martin with a service error of her own gives it right back. Taya Beller, rookie, played at Division II Wayne State College. Chaich buries it in the corner for the kill.
Every kill that Chaich has had has been impressive. They've been really hard kills whenever she's putting it down. Hasn't gone to off speed too much tonight. She's really relying on that power.
Had a great day on Sunday against this Atlanta team. 18 kills, was 1 shy of her season high. Tuoninga looks outside to Timmer. Too strong. Point Indy.
Atlanta has to find a way to stop the bleeding. Too many errors early on in this third set. They have to keep the ball in the court.
It was a dominant set 1 for the Vibe, but since then, Indy responded back with a set 2 win. Now an early 5-point lead in the third. Back set, Dixon near side, whips it through the back row.
Beautiful set, getting Dixon moving on the run, but far in front of her to where she still has momentum coming in.
Tuoninga, the rookie setter from USC. Martin from the middle. Tuoninga's there sliding down for the dig. The overpass is dropped home by Martin.
Great heads-up play from Lydia Martin, identifying that overpass and going up and just being big to swipe it down.
We are only 2.5 sets in. She's just 1 kill off of her season high. That's now 6 tonight for Lydia Martin. Back set, slide. Lewis is picked up in the back. Martin into the net, point Atlanta.
Good run on Indy's side that set, just a little bit too low for Martin to get that full extension on.
Pia Timmer, service error of her own right away.
Just too high error on Atlanta's side.
This was the exact score except reversed in set 2, where Indy was down 12-7. Then they went on an 8-1 run, used that to pull away, and end up winning the second set. Edmond rejected. Taylor with the block for the Ignite.
What a block from Ajani Taylor. Seeing a seam in there, diving those hands right back inside. She might only be 5'9", but she plays so much bigger than that.
One of the 4 All-Stars for the Indy Ignite. There's an ace to follow up. Second ace of the night for Nina Chaich.
Not only is Chaich bringing a ton of pace, but she's hitting the seams incredibly well right between the passers. So it's coming so fast that they don't have time to talk about who's going to take it.
All Indy Ignite here in the third set. They have jumped out to a 14-7 lead over Atlanta.
Indy is doing everything incredibly well. They're hitting 600 during this set. They already have 2 blocks, and serving-wise, they're continuing to put in pace. Already 2 aces in this set.
1 ace from Chaich, 1 from Martin in this set alone. That's something that they haven't had a lot of, is the service pressure with aces, but we've seen a few of them tonight now.
Indy's doing a much better job varying up where they're placing these balls. So they're not going after specifically one person. They're kind of changing it up based on the rotation that they're in, seeing what seams are available, and just getting after it.
All smiles in that Indy Ignite huddle right now. Dropped the first set, and it was rather convincing for Atlanta. 25-16 the final. They dominated from start to finish, but Indy used a nice 8-1 run in that second set. They win the set 25-20, and they have jumped out to a 14-7 lead here in the third. Out of the timeout, Chaich continues to serve. To Aninga goes middle, and that is Lewis, wide left of the line. Another point for Indy out of the timeout.
Just that middle connection hasn't been the best tonight with whatever setter's in. They're getting good passes, but Atlanta's not able to capitalize on that.
Chaich sails it just a bit long, service error.
Really good service run, though, from Nina Chaich. I mean, what she's able to do from the back line consistently has been so impressive.
Murr the overpass. It's still a point for Indy.
And normally you're not happy about overpasses, but that one you'll take if the other side's going to gift you that.
16-8, all Indy Ignite in set 3. They've got a chance to take a 2-1 lead here at home against Atlanta, trying to get some revenge after a loss on Sunday to this same team. A lot of excitement if you're an Indy Ignite fan, the way the last couple sets have gone. They responded back to win set 2 after losing the first, and now Emily, they have jumped out to a 16-8 lead here in the third.
That's a story for Indy. Sometimes they start off matches slow, but they get better as they go on.
Leah Edmond does tool the block here out of the timeout. It's a point for Atlanta.
That was an answer that the Vibe really needed. Regroup during that timeout, figure it out on the pass, and get some offense going.
Another double-double for Leah Edmond. That's now her 4th consecutive. She has been on a tear recently. One of 4 All-Stars for Atlanta, and really cool to see them playing in the match because they actually have a match themselves on Sunday, the day after in Columbus, but all 4 of them planning to play Saturday.
And they just felt like it was too important to miss, to make history, be a part of that inaugural All-Star match for the Pro Volleyball Federation. So exciting that those 4 players are in it too because they're all studs.
Yeah, Johnny Taylor with the point here for Indy for the side out. It was originally not supposed to be a match on Sunday, but there was a facilities issue in Columbus, so they had to move it up from next Thursday to this Sunday. CC Crawford out of the middle for the Ignite.
Indy's just getting good look after good look. The back row has done a really nice job continuing to push Sydney Hilly up at the net so that those middles can run.
Gotten a lot of production out of the middles tonight, which has not always been the theme for the Indy Ignite this season. Lewis blocked back by Crawford. Edmond the free ball. Hilly sets, Martin push back. Martin into the block, point Atlanta.
Aiko Jones stepping in and stepping up for Atlanta right away, using those big hands, setting that block up really well.
First time we've seen Jones did not play in either of the first 2 sets, but she does have a block right after checking in. Crawford from the middle, that's right through the hands of Whitney Bauer.
Atlanta has had a difficult time stopping the middle in front of the setter. It's oftentimes one-on-one because the pins have to worry about the pins right in front of them, and Indy's having a field day.
Crawford and Martin, the 2 middles, have combined for 12 kills between the 2 of them. Edmond back row, diving dig for Taylor. Nina Chaich cross court.
That set from Sydney Hilly was what makes her so great. You think this is an overpass, but she saves it, turning her back to the net, getting Chaich in the perfect spot to unload on this one.
A dominant set for the Ignite, up 20-10 here in the 3rd. Bauer goes middle, wide of the line, point Indy.
Atlanta's just trying every combination of setter and hitters up there, just trying to get some kind of momentum because the back row is doing a really nice job pushing that ball up at the net.
Bauer already the 3rd setter we've seen for Atlanta, not even 3 full sets in. Jones pushes it into the net, another point for the Ignite, up 12. And Atlanta uses its 2nd and final timeout of the set, down a dozen to the Ignite. It's almost unrecognizable the way Indy's playing the last couple sets compared to what we saw in the first.
Indy's continuing to get better, and Atlanta's continuing to get worse as this match has gone on. During this 3rd set, Indy's hitting nearly 600 compared to negative 125 for Atlanta. So that tells you just how different both these offenses are running right now. And of note, too, with Atlanta hitting negative, they're passing incredibly well. They're at about 60% good pass percentage, which is normally the goal and where you want to be. That means they're getting the balls in the right position, but the setters are either mishandling them or the hitters are just not making the smart choices with them.
Yeah, only 4 kills, 5 errors in this set for Atlanta for that negative hitting percentage to be down 22-10.
In the middles right now, so good on the Ignite side. CC Crawford batting 1,000. Lydia Martin, 2 kills already during just this set. Sydney Hilly's doing a really nice job getting them going, especially in transition, which was a focal point for this Indy offense tonight.
This 3rd set has felt as flawless as it can be for the Indy Ignite. Isabel Martin serving out of the timeout. Bauer with a back set. Scott jumps up to make the play. Crawford off the slide, making another kill. She's still hitting 1,000 in this set.
CC Crawford's just getting after it. In front of the setter, behind the setter. Hilly is feeding her because she's got the hot hand.
4 kills, 4 swings in this set for CC Crawford. Overpass. Crawford will not make it 5 for 5. Hilly sets. This is Chaich who goes off speed. Just moments ago, Emily, you talked about everything Chaich was hitting was hard. She goes off speed, and there's the kill.
That's what makes the tip really effective because you expect her to take these monster kills, and then that easy little tap-in does it.
Set point, crowd to their feet. 24-10 Ignite. Bauer goes to Timmer, dug up by Scott, overpasses, blocked by Crawford. Timmer drills it into the back corner for the point.
Good answer for Atlanta, showing that they still got a little bit of fight in them, but they've got a long way to go. The key right now is just to gain some momentum headed into the next one.
You're looking for what? Maybe rattle off 3-4 points in a row, feel good about yourself going to the fourth?
That'd be great for momentum for the Vibe right now.
Well, that won't happen. Chaich ends the set.
I don't know if there's a team in the world that could have beat Indy just now. The way that they were playing, passing was incredible. The defense was otherworldly, picking everything up. And offensively, everyone was as locked in as we've seen Indy the entire season.
Thumbs up for the Indy Ignite net set, as dominant as it can be. 25-11. Nothing went wrong for the Ignite. They've got a 2-1 lead and a chance to win it here at home in the fourth set against the Atlanta Vibe.
Lights, it's up. The Indy Ignite are taking over with nonstop action, athleticism, and an experience you will never forget. Indiana's first ever professional women's volleyball team is lighting up the Fishers Event Center this season. Tickets are on sale now and going fast. Join the fan firestorm in supporting these unbelievable female athletes and creating memories you won't forget. Get your tickets at indyignitevb.com today.
Why should you get tickets to see the Atlanta Vibe?
There's no whining to the refs like a little crybaby.
There's no falling down and acting like you have a life-threatening injury. Everyone knows you're faking, dude.
They're super nice, unless you're on the other team. Then they're gonna kick your
There's no boring 0-0 ties. They score like constantly. Yeah, we're really tight.
Get your tickets today at atlantavibe.com.
Fishers Event Center in Indiana will play host to the inaugural PVF All-Star Match, February 22nd. Tickets are on sale now at provolleyball.com or scan the QR code for instant access.
When I hear it coming up like that, I just know that things are gonna end bad. La da 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 da. I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it. La da 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 da. I'll just keep dropping it, like there's no stopping it. Then walk with it. La da 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 da.
Pro Volleyball Federation Season 2. Tickets available now.
Well, if you blinked, you might have missed set 3. That's how quick the Indy Ignite ended it against Atlanta, 25-11. I don't know that there was really anything to critique in that third set for Indy.
Indy was absolutely fantastic. The offense definitely found their rhythm, and a lot of that started from the middle. The passing was so good that the middles just absolutely went off. Hilly was feeding them in front of her, behind her. Cece Crawford and Lydia Martin looked unstoppable.
Yeah, the middles, which they've not gotten a lot of offense from at all times this season, were fantastic in that third set. Chance to win it here in the fourth, which is not something we probably thought was going to happen the way set 1 looked.
Atlanta looked like they took complete control during set 1. That was a really big focus for the Vibe that Kayla Vanworth told us is when we're up in sets or when we have momentum in the match, we can't let a team back in it. That's exactly what they did after set 1.
Sydney Hilly, the setter, to get us underway in the fourth set. Dixon on the far pin, buries it in the center of that Indy defense.
Another different combination on Atlanta's side. They'll go back to their starting setter, Marley Monserrat, but they'll keep Anna Dixon in on that right side.
McKenna Vicini to serve, rookie from Stanford. Chaich tried to go cut shot, but sent it into the net, point Atlanta. Vicini's serve a little bit long. That's the first Indy point of set 4.
Errors was something that also really shot Atlanta in the foot during the last set. They weren't great from the end line, hitting a lot of balls out of bounds. They have to do a better job of controlling back there.
Overpass, chance for Indian system. Hilly looks to Martin, pops it off the block. Still up. Up tempo, Martin. Back set, this is Dixon, shoves it into the hands of the block. Martin and Martin combined for the block.
Oh, the double Martin block. Both doing a really good job getting those hands in a good position to where the hitter couldn't use them. So sometimes you'll see it swipe right off the hands of the block, but Martin didn't let her. Isabel Martin didn't let her.
Martin and Martin's a good name for a law firm. Lewis dug up. It's Elena Scott. Her first start as the libero. Chaich from the back row whips it through the defense.
Haven't seen too many sets to Nina Chaich in the back row. That's something that George Padgett wants to see a lot more from Sydney Hilly, is getting that big attack going.
You think a lot of it has to do with how successful the middles have been today?
100%. When you have that much production, especially in front of the setter, you don't necessarily need to use the back row.
Monzere sets, Edmond near side, goes down the line. It's a point for Atlanta.
After the second set, Leah Edmond had 9 kills. We're headed now into the fourth set. She only has 10, so just 1 kill during that third set. She has to have a lot more production here in set 4.
Current player of the week in the league. Had 25 on Sunday between these two. That's Ajani Teeler who spins it off the block. Lydia Martin, she's been really efficient in the middle. She's got an ace. Her second one of the night.
Lydia Martin just doing it all. We've seen her get an assist. She's had kills, blocks. She's getting everything done for Indy.
8 kills, which is a new season high. 6 digs, 2 aces. Atlanta has the immediate response.
This is where Atlanta needs to find a way early to take some kind of control of the game, establish herself early on offensively, and really get after it from the back line.
We talked about that just a little bit ago. Those are the things that Atlanta cannot afford to have, the unforced errors.
Yeah, too many errors. We've seen way too many from Atlanta missing out of bounds. Yes, you have to serve tough, but it still has to be in.
Monserrat back set. Lewis off the slide is poked back. Timmer right through the back row.
Good finish from Timmer. She has such a fast arm swing that you almost have to be up just a little bit sooner than you think as a blocker because she's coming through so quickly.
She's had a couple really good matches against Indy. A season high 16 kills on Sunday. Back set. Teeler right through the defense again for the kill.
What a set from Sydney Hilly, allowing Teeler to chase this ball down, but not getting it too far in front to where she doesn't have the angles that she wants to hit. Just beautiful connection between those two.
Timmer is rejected by CeCe Crawford.
A beautiful shutdown from CeCe Crawford, getting those hands over so far along the net, and Hilly setting that one up beautifully.
Second block tonight for CeCe Crawford. Indy up 3. There's an ace to follow.
This is where Indy has to continue to hold on to this lead, keep the foot on the gas, and don't let Atlanta back into this one.
Isabel Martin's second ace of the season. It's also Indy's second ace of this set. Back set, off the slide. That's Vicini.
Atlanta makes that switch to getting McKenna Vicini and just try to get some offensive production. She's so good at on both sides of the ball. They really need some offensive production though right now.
Hilly back set. Crawford goes to the slide herself. Great effort from Hens. She was able to up it for a moment, but it's a point for Indy.
The development of CeCe Crawford's game has been so impressive this season. Coming in as a rookie, having just played an entire season of her own at Wisconsin in the NCAA college season, to now come professionally and one, be caught up to the speed of the game, but also be dominant, has been so impressive.
The offense has started coming around as well. Second time that Anna DeBeer has served, she goes into the net. Making her professional debut tonight, had that ankle injury in the national semifinals in her hometown of Louisville. Missed a few months. Coach Padgett told us she's about 80-85% right now. Thought he might be able to get her in a couple times to serve tonight, and he has. Taylor blocked back. Free ball. See if Atlanta can turn it into something. Bump set from Hintz. Edmond near pin, zips it long. Point Ignite.
You can see the frustration kind of play out on Atlanta's side. Edmond trying to do just a little bit too much with that one and swing for the fences, but this time going over the block and out.
Back set to Dixon, tapped over by Taylor. Scott back set, Shaich right into the tape. Point Atlanta.
This is where Atlanta has to flip that switch and make that push. The offense has to look a lot cleaner, and so important from the end line from here on out to be clean.
They have pulled within 3. They lost set 3, 25-11. Shaich, Dixon, good play. Hilly sets Lydia Martin, and it's dropped back by the block of Atlanta.
Good block on Atlanta's side, and I don't hate the decision to throw in that tip right there. If anything, you're just recycling that play, but on Indy's side, they need to do a better job of covering. That's not coming back with very much pace. You have to be in and ready to play that up.
Whitney Bowers, second-year professional. Played her college ball at BYU. Taylor, good miss.
Taylor trying to put a hole in the floor. She's getting after it. It's a beautiful swing. When she has those lanes open, she's so good at just pinpointing her swing right there.
Seeing the confidence grow match by match for Johnny Taylor. Dixon. Point Atlanta.
What made that tip so effective was it wasn't just an easy tip right over the block with some height. She really put some pressure behind it and forced that tip with tempo to put it where she wanted it.
Now she goes back to serve. Dixon's serve is way too long. It's the 3rd service error this set for the Vibe.
12th service error overall. It's tough to win games and win sets when you have that many errors on the back line because that's a complete controllable on your side.
They do get one back. Lydia Martin goes well too long on the serve herself. Back set to Taylor, pops up the block. What an effort from Hens to dive after it. Ooh. Nobody's getting that one. Taylor on the overpass, drives it home.
This is what makes a Johnny Taylor so much fun to watch, is that confidence that she plays with. She has an incredible feel for the game and just knowing when to get after it.
She's got a match-high 13 kills. Now she serves. Lewis off the slide, dug up by Taylor. Free ball. Hilly. Martin finds a seam in the back row for the kill.
That's what happens when you give teams free balls. I know it wasn't a great set for Edmond to potentially go hit, but she could have if she wanted to. I think Atlanta needs to be a little bit more aggressive in those moments because they have to find a way to put pressure on Indy.
Back row Dixon. Taylor couldn't get there on the chase. Point Atlanta.
Better take from Atlanta's backcourt, getting that pass up. Not perfect, but they found something to do with it.
Anna Dixon, who we really didn't see much of the first couple sets, has been pretty impactful in sets 3 and 4 for the Vibe. Hilly dumps it over. Good effort. It's Dixon. Isabel Martin cross court. That's picked up. Ooh, great effort. Dixon from the back row got a good swing on it. Crawford in the middle, puts it away.
Just good play after good play on both sides. I love that Dixon was aggressive with that swing, keeping pressure on Indy. But Indy's defense has just been all over the place tonight, getting Haley in good situations to give her hitters even better situations.
9 points away from winning it in 4 sets. The Indy Ignite trying to close it out and get some revenge against Atlanta for a loss on Sunday. Atlanta took the opening set 25-16 tonight, but since then it's been a whole lot of the Indy Ignite, winning sets 2 and 3, and now up 4 in set 4 with a chance to close it out.
This is the point in the match where Indy has to keep the foot on the gas, continue to keep being aggressive, both from a serving standpoint and up front on attack, and force Atlanta into tough situations.
Elena Scott, the rookie libero, getting her first career start at libero tonight. All-Star Weekend is this weekend. We're a little less than 48 hours from the All-Star Game in this building here in the Fishers Event Center. Oh, back row, Leah Edmond, look out.
That's why I love Leah Edmond, because it doesn't matter if her team is up or down. She's going to continue to have that drive and that fight. And I loved what their head coach, Caleb Banworth, said about her, that there's very few people who really want to win in an unselfish way. She continues to fight every point because she wants to do it for her teammates and because she just wants to win so bad.
The challenge is for an attack line fault, potentially.
Normally that's foot over the line on a back row attack. From there, that looks clean.
No. Yeah, that should be pretty quick. And in fact, it's already confirmed.
Man, Leah Edmond can sky.
Yeah, she can. So George Padgett loses the challenge. His team still up 3 here in set 4. Hilly goes to Chaich, right into the hands of the block. Chaich, another swing. Monserrat back sets. Dixon. Hilly wants Crawford off the slide. She's got the kill.
A missed opportunity on Atlanta's side. A beautiful pass, and Monserrat fumbles that set just a little bit. Leads to a great situation on Indy's side. And that middle, again, just getting after it. Crawford has done a phenomenal job tonight.
11 kills for CeCe Crawford, which matches her season high that she set just Sunday against Atlanta. Taylor Head, first swing of the day for her. Chaich is dug up by Edmond. Taylor Head gets another look. She pushes it into the block, and it does not find the line. Point Atlanta.
Really high IQ play from Taylor Head because that set was way too tight to the net. The block was right there with it, but she just did a good job of pushing it right off.
Taylor Head played 4 years at Arkansas, twice named an All-American, then finished up her career at Florida State this past year. Dixon on the far pin, into the block, and she tools it. Point Atlanta.
Over the last few points, Atlanta doing a better job of using the block to their advantage, really swinging high at the fingertips.
And pulled back within 2, trying to force a 5th and decisive set. Hilly back sets. This is Taylor from the back row. Great dig. Chaich, point Indy.
Good swing from Chaich. She's been really good in transition, knowing that she's going to get a lot of swings as rallies get extended and extended. And she's doing a good job of moving around where she's attacking this ball.
9 kills on the night for Nina Chaich, who is 1 shy of double figures for the 7th straight match. Monserrat goes to Edmond, off speed. Taylor on the near pin, cross court for the kill. Indy's lead climbs up to 4.
Johnny Taylor just continues to heat up as this match has gone on. Doesn't matter if she's in the front or the back court. She's taking big swing after big swing.
She forces Atlanta to have to take the timeout, down 19-15. An opportunity for the Indy Ignite with a win tonight to jump into 4th place in the league.
I love when Taylor takes these swings where she was on the floor before that set came, but got up so quickly, so isn't exactly in a great position to make this attack, but she jumps so high that she's able to kind of see the defense and just hit that swing so hard.
George Padgett was telling you and I this morning that he's not necessarily, he doesn't want the team to overwatch film. He wants them to figure out things on his own. And you asked him who's the most bought into that theory, and he said Johnny Taylor, without a doubt.
Yeah, it didn't take him even 1 second to think of that answer because Ajani has such a great feel for the game, and she kind of makes those big plays when it matters and really has that confident mindset. This is a player that believes in herself so much. She's played a lot of volleyball from when she was young, through college, starting every single year up until now. She just has a good feel for it because she's played so long and has that confidence really instilled in her.
Played for Orlando last year where she started as a practice player, then about halfway through the season got elevated to the active roster, and now in her first season with Indy, she's already been named an all-star in the league. Edmond with a quick response out of the timeout for the Vibe.
Really good response from Atlanta. This is a point in the match where normally Atlanta just feeds every ball to Leah Edmond because they can count on her in these big moments because they know how competitive she gets up there.
Pulls her team within 3, closing moments of set 4. Overpass, but Atlanta scrambling. Still get a good swing from Edmond. Pushed into the block of Dixon, point Indy.
Great job for Lydia Martin to stay aggressive on that play. It would have been really easy for her to throw in some kind of free ball, but she took that tip and pushed it right off the block.
7th kill for Lydia Martin. Nina Chaich serving up 20-16. Chaich will not find the line. That's wide left.
Atlanta was pretty high error from the service line earlier on in this set. They need to be as clean as possible from here on out.
Chaich gets a back row swing and she whips it through the defense.
Not many back row swings with the first 3 sets of this match, but man, here in set 4, Hilly has gotten it going, and Chaich has been unbelievable back there.
Her 10th kill, meaning that's 7 straight matches she's had double-figure kills. Nina Chaich on a roll. Monserrat sets, near side. Edmond is pushed back by the block of Taylor.
One area of Taylor's game that we don't talk enough about is her blocking. I mean, she is phenomenal up there. Yes, she's amazing offensively, but she's 4th in the PVF right now in blocks per set. She is blocking balls left and right.
Nearly 1 block per set on the season for Ajani Teeler, and she's got the Ignite up 22-17. Chance for Indy to move to 5-1 at home this season. An opportunity to climb above 500 on the season at 6-5 and go into the All-Star break in 4th place.
How cool that we get to see 8 players combined between these two teams on Saturday. It's going to be such a fun event here at the Fishers Event Center that we were told is going to be sold out. Over 7,000 people in attendance to watch 25 of the best players in the country go at it.
4 for Indy, 4 for Atlanta in that All-Star game. One of them is Lecator member Mena, who will miss it because of an injury, but she's been one of the best players, if not the best in the league this season, averaging nearly 5 kills and 4 digs a set. Edmond out of the timeout. Scott on the overpass flies it out of play.
This is exactly who Atlanta wants back on the service line in these kind of moments. Leah Edmonds' service so tough to pass. It's kind of a hybrid. It's not a top spin. It's not a float serve. So it's really difficult, especially when it's in those seams.
23 aces on the season for Leah Edmond. Teeler cross court, splits the back row defense.
Indy inching closer and closer to that match win, and Ajani Teeler putting the hammer down on it.
It's exactly who you want to go to. 15 kills to lead all players tonight. Taylor Head has the answer for Atlanta.
Normally for an Atlanta team that really relies on Leah Edmond, they've had to rely on a lot of different people because no one's having a particularly great offensive night.
Hilly looks to Isabel Martin, pops it up off the block. Back set, Anna Dixon from the back row, lunging play by Elena Scott. And Taylor goes off speed, match point for Indy.
I have been so impressed with Elena Scott tonight. She is flying all over the court, so good defensively, and servicing phenomenal as well in her first ever professional debut start.
The rookie starting at libero for the first time makes a great play, and her team's got match point. It'll have to wait one more point. Monserrat, the setter, with the quick attack. It's 24-20. Match point number 2. Back set, Crawford on the slide, off the block, point Indy, match Indy. And that's a win for your Indy. Set 1 went to Atlanta in rather decisive fashion, 25-16, but George Pageant's group answers with 3 straight wins, and they take the match.
Such an impressive turnaround for this Indy team that kind of got thumped during set 1. It looked like it might have been a short night. All they needed to do was wake up just a little bit. They also got more aggressive as the match went on. They were serving tougher, knocking Atlanta out of system, and defensively, they were fantastic. The block really turned it on, getting in better positions, getting a lot of really good touches in the backcourt, was able to transition that into awesome offense. I thought Sydney Hilly set a beautiful match, getting everyone involved, especially the middles, which was a massive focus for her to get them involved in the play and try to open things up for her pin hitters.
45 assists tonight for Sydney Hilly, who really distributed everything well in the Ignite, win it in 4 sets. We'll wrap it up on the other side here from the Fishers Event Center. The Indy Ignite get it done in 4 sets tonight over the Atlanta Vibe. After losing set 1, the Ignite take the next 3, and they move to 6-5 on the season. And we are joined by the Indy Ignite libero, Elena Scott. Elena, your first career start at the professional level in the libero jersey. Walk us through your mindset and your emotions before tonight.
It was just so much fun to play with these girls. They bring so much love and joy to the game, and they were there to support me every step of the way.
What kind of kept you confident throughout the start and through the match that you could do this and that you were going to excel in it?
Yeah, like I said, my teammates have my back always, and in and out of practice, they've supported me. So going out here just gave me a lot of confidence to play free and fun.
Elena, you guys lose set 1. You're down 12-7 in set 2. What changed at about the halfway mark of set 2?
I think we just knew that it was all in us, and we just had to have confidence and go out there and play free. And I think that's exactly what we did. And shout out Sydney, she mixed it up a lot.
And that offense really got going. What do you think was key for that?
I think our middles were up in trans almost every time, and that really opened it up for us, and let our pins have some one-on-ones.
A win going into the All-Star break for you guys a week before your next match. What needs to be done to make sure that that continues into next week and the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think starting off strong is something we're really focusing on right now, and I think that's something that we can focus on and practice this next week.
Lynn, I want to ask you about a moment. You got to see Anna DeBeer go back in and serve a few times. What did that mean to see her getting out and doing that after recovering from a tough injury?
Yeah, it's been a long journey for her, and I know she really enjoyed being out here on the court again, and the crowd had her back through it all.
Well, Elena, congratulations on the win tonight and your first professional start as the libero, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
That is Elena Scott, the starting libero for the Indy Ignite after a 4-set win for the Ignite over Atlanta. They get revenge after a loss on the road 4 days ago on Sunday. And here's a look at the final stats. And those efficiency numbers is what jumps out to me, Emily, because Indy struggled in set 1. They hit just over 0 in that first set, and they were great the last 3.
Indy continued to get better and better, really in all areas of the game. Conversely, Atlanta really struggled as the match went on to find offensive rhythm. If they can play like they did during set 1 the rest of the season, they'll be good, but they need to stay consistent. And Indy, if they can end like they did a phenomenal job.
3 different attackers in double figures tonight in the 4-set win on a 45-assist performance from Sydney Hilly, and it felt like everybody got involved tonight.
Everyone was involved, and particularly the middles, who did a really great job. Cece Crawford, 12 kills, hit 750 tonight. She was phenomenal. Coupled that with Lydia Martin with 7 kills for her, and I thought the middles did a really good job, especially in transition, being up and available.
The 12 kills for Crawford, a new season high. The 7 for Martin matched her season high. So the middles, fantastic tonight for the Indy Ignite in a 4-set win over the Atlanta Vibe. Sends us into the All-Star break with the Indy Ignite at 6-5. They've got 1 week before their next match right here in the Fishers Event Center against Vegas. Atlanta, meanwhile, hits the road on Sunday to take on Columbus. A big thank you to our entire crew tonight. For Emily Eamon, I'm Noah Reed saying good night from Fishers.